snide. Anyway, why do we see the same faces in jail? Well, you do see the same faces in jail for a start. You do all the time. Why do we see the same faces? I don't know. Who cares? Move on. Job done. No, you do. You. It's more normal to see the same faces in jail again and again and again than what it is to see new faces. You get to know people, you get to know their name, you get to know them on sight, like, you know, oh hello mate, yeah, I ain't seen you for 4 months. Hello mate, yeah, oh god mate, yeah, I remember we know each other from back in Warren Hill. 20 years later. You see the same faces from YO, young offenders, when you first start. Your fake, stupid criminal career, thinking you're gonna be a millionaire by being a burglar, armed robber, tea leaf. What a donut. You're not, by the way. You're not. You never are. Get over it. Get a job. You'll earn much more money. Yeah, the same faces. Without the same faces, though, jails would be on their knees. Yeah, repeat customers coming back again and again and again and again for a service you don't want. You've got to be crazy, innit, if you keep going back for the same thing. For sake you don't want. Listen, I've said it before. Everything I say is it's all about my own experience. Yeah, I can only go by anything from my experience, my side of whatever story. But if someone went to me, why do you see so many of the same faces? A lot of it's down to drugs. You know, the white and the bee, light and the dark. Yeah, they're the ones that people get hooked on them, and they're just continuously in and out, and it's the pettiness of it, in and out, in and out, in and out. You know, I genuinely met a geezer that was doing, and you're never going to convince me that this geezer was anything other than a pound note. He was doing 6 do 3 or 3 months do 12 weeks maybe, shoplifting 1 jar of coffee. Yeah, that's what he told me anyway. And it's true. I take him at his word for it, because jails are full with people like that. Jails are not full with armed robbers, murderers, grapists. What rhymes with grape? And serial killers. Jail's not full with them. They're full of coffee stealers, nappy sellers, radox lifters. You know what I mean? Meat sellers, cheese sellers, biting off bottles of alcohol, like the alarm on a bottle of alcohol in the shop, and running out of it. That's what jail's full with. And it's not as easy to say as, oh well, you've got to clear the streets up of drugs. You're never going to do that anyway. I mean, since the dawn of time, man has invented a way to get on it, ain't they? Oh look, there's some fruit. Let's chuck it over there for a month, and then I'll go back to it. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? Then I'll go back to it, have a little. Oh hey. You know what I mean? Oh, I've just ate a mushroom. Oh, feels like poison, but it's magic poison, man. We love it. What I'm saying is humans love it. Yeah. Magic poison. We do love it though, yeah. So to say you're just going to stop it, it's never going to happen. Because even if you built a wall around the whole country, this is all only my view, isn't it? And what do I know? I'm not an expert. But even if you built a wall around the country, we devise our own ways, which we did before. So you've got to find out why these people want to do white and B. You've got to find out why they're doing it. And even if it's not white and beam, whatever's uh, whatever whatever they're running away from in the past, yeah, that's ultimately what it is. Whatever they're running away from in the past, you got to make them face that, accept that, not chat like, do all the steps with it, all the what's it called, cycle of change or whatever, yeah. And that's actually a good one when they talk about relapse and the difference between a relapse and a lapse, because a lot of that stuff is so poncy in it, sitting there, you're going, what are you on about? What are you on about? Cycle of change. But knowing knowing the difference between a lapse and a relapse and all that, it does help certain people, because if some certain people fall off the wagon, so to speak, once, they think, oh, it's all over, and they'll just go like full tilt, like back into drinking or doing whatever. But if like, hold on a minute, I've only fell off once, I could just get back on. So like that cycle of change is actually a good one. I know, but you've got to face your demons, basically. Yeah, that's how you're going to get people. So you're not going to, because if you shove someone in jail for 3 months to, what you do after 12 weeks, what are they going to get a chance to rehabilitate? I'm not saying send people away longer. So what are they going to get a chance to rehabilitate? 3 months to 12. 12 weeks. 3 months to 12 weeks. What are you going to rehabilitate? If you've got a drug problem, what are you going to rehabilitate? What are you going to stop doing? If you stood in front of a judge and the judge went, I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you 3 months to 12, or I'll send you to rehab for a year. Between 6 months and a year, depending on what the counsellors say. You get some of them that'll go, yeah, well, lads, I'll do 3 do 12, but I guarantee a lot of people say, no, actually, no, I'll go and do the rest. Because not a lot of people want to do the white and the B. They just don't. They fall into it because of, I don't know anyone that got into that stuff. Maybe, listen, they're out there, obviously. This is only the people that I've spoke to. But I don't know anyone that got into that stuff and got hooked on it, that had like really happy childhoods and all that. Yeah. And the thing is, when I said like about you see the same faces from when you're a YO and then you go to a prison, it's like I went away, and from the age of, I first went away when I was 16, 17, come out, I got 15 months and I probably did 9 or 10 or something, 10. Was it a DTO, detention training order or something, where my remand time didn't get taken off, so whatever time I did a remand, if you're an adult, it gets taken off. Back then, for the order I got, detention training order or something, didn't, DTO. But you miss out on, like, you still stoke your stuff up like a sponge when you're that age, yeah, because you're a kid, you're 17, 18, 16 or whatever I was. You're still learning, yeah. So what you leave school. Listen, I was a nightmare, yeah. I went away for burglary first time. It's not like, but I got 12 months for one burglary, man. Even my solicitor was like shocked. He was like, what? And then I've got another 3 months added on top. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. I did it. Like, you take it on the chin, didn't you? But I basically went into a jail when I was that age. Yeah, I could have done an apprenticeship, like a motor mechanics course or something like that. But I was given the option to leave and not do it and things like that. Yeah. And when you're that age, you should be forced to do things like that in YOs. You should be forced to finish your GCSEs if you ain't done them. You should be, it's easy to say it, but you should be like taught about things from that age, about things like money. I don't want to say it like money management, because they tried to make me do money management in an adult prison, yeah, and it was ridiculous, and I didn't go. But I'm talking about when you're like 16, 17, you don't know nothing about rent or paying rent or saving your money to pay, like keeping your wages if you and putting it towards your rent and your gas and your electric, or if you've got to top it up. You don't know none of that. So while all the people on the outside are learning all that, you should be learning that as well, really, even though you're in jail. But you are a child, so you still need to learn that. Because what I'm saying is, like, once I did it, went to prison, YO when I was that age. I come out and I basically was at whatever I was, 18 or whatever. All my pals had moved on that little bit, but I was still immature, and and I missed out on that, on those few months. But those were important months of learning just life lessons, you know. When you're that age, every day's a life lesson when you're that age, and it should continue when you're there. And I think that's a big reason why, in my opinion, again, why you see repeat offenders from the YOs to the adults. Because what are you in the meantime? What are you learning in that time? Nothing. All you're doing is missing time, like skipping time, and then you come out and it's like time stopped for you. Yeah, even when you're an adult, you go back to jail, you come out, you're missing out on all that stuff still. Oh, it took me ages to actually, I said it before, realise fully what a mortgage was, and I'm sure a lot of prisoners are like that. Rent, I'll stay in a hotel if I've got a bit of money, or this, that. But that's all because you haven't learned any other way. You're literally still living like a child because you're missing out on those important life lessons, I suppose. You know what I mean? Life lessons or educate. Well, it's all education, isn't it? But education across the nation, it's important. Yeah, same faces. Drugs, alcohol. But why are they taking drugs? Why are they taking alcohol? You've got to deal with that. And I don't just mean. And I mean from like, it's mainly childhood traumas, isn't it? Why, like that you're not dealing with, why you end up drinking, why you end up taking drugs, why you're doing this, why you're doing that. So you've got to face them, you've got to deal with them. You should be forced to deal with them. It's easy. It's hard to force someone when you're not ready, but you've got to try and give someone some sort of incentive to do it. Otherwise, they're just going to keep coming back. There's no point. Just keep coming back. You keep going back. But if you was into conspiracies, you'd think they wanted you to keep going back. I'm talking about governments, people that controlled prisons, because you know, because without you, there's none of that. So, but obviously we're not into conspiracies on this channel. We're into fact. We're into non-fiction. We're not Billy bullshitters. You know. There's more to come with the plum, by the way. Loads more. Yeah, man. But yeah, if you don't want to see the same faces, you've got to make people deal with, get over whatever they've got, get over whatever they haven't faced. And plus, when they're in the YOs, because it's always the you know, you always start off in a YO. It's not like you start all of a sudden going to prison when you're 25. From where I was onwards, you've got to be given those life lessons, man. You've got to be given those, not just silly maths and English class and an IT course and all them, which mean nothing. I'm talking about those, like, you know, learn about rent, learn about, you know, I don't know when you're that age, you don't want to learn about that. You think it's boring. You think it's going to be, shit. Then you think you don't need to know that stuff. You think you know, I'm going to be alright. I'm going to be a millionaire when I'm 21. John Dillinger, but it's not like that. So they should be forced to learn about just all the stuff they're missing out on, learning about rent, mortgages, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Going to the bank, getting credit, how you building your credit up. I've said it before, to this day, I can't even get a bank account with like an overdraft. I can just get some. It's basically like having a hole in the wall where I can just chuck money and store it until I want to just pull it out. You know what I mean? I get nothing off it. You know what I mean? To this day, I can't get nothing off. I've got nothing. So having no credit is as bad as having bad credit when you're my age. So you should be taught that sort of thing when you're in prison, and maybe even help They probably, no, I think they did used to do this, but they probably don't anymore. Maybe they still do, but if they do, they should make everyone do it, or at least ask everyone, do you want to set up a bank account if you're a kid? Like if you're 16, 17, do you want to set up a bank account? Do you want to set up a bank account? Do you want to set up a bank account? If not, we'll do it. If you want it, we'll do it now. You know what I mean? What do I know though? You know what I mean? Bong time. Anyway, enjoyed that. Hit subscribe. We'll chat later. Adios.